So this is our third focus activity. You've already got the other two. What do those focus activities do? Wednesday. All right. So officially, I'm going to be looking for those on Wednesday. These are little slips of paper you get maybe once or twice a week. This is another way that I can go ahead and give you a really good grade. All you have to do is follow along, write down what we're doing, just keep up with them. If you do lose one of the focus activities, I do make extras. I think we've lost a few folks, so I want to say we're down to 25 or 26 students when everybody's here, and I always make 35 copies, a little extra. So right over here by Marcus, you remember the little filing system, Monday through Friday. Okay, just look through there on the day that it was given. If you don't know, ask me. I can help you out. But there are copies over there until they're all taken. But this concept, just finding domain and range, two problems on your test Thursday are going to look just like this. I'm just going to give you a couple of graphs, and all you got to do is tell me using interval notation, the domain how wide, and the range how tall. Okay, so let's see here. Number one, how would we like to approach this? Now, if you're one of those folks that can go ahead and just tell me what the final answer is, I mean, that's fantastic. Maybe some folks, do we want to go ahead and take it one branch at a time and then see if we need to condense it? Okay, that's probably going to be better for a lot of folks. So let's see here. Focus on this ray right here. So it starts with an open circle and goes down and to the left. All right, so I want to know how wide he is. So how far left will he go? He goes forever to negative infinity. But now, moving along the x-axis, where does he finally stop? At -1. Now, the other one does stop at 5. We're going to get to him in just a second. So this guy right here, he goes from negative infinity to -1. And what's the open circle tell me? He is not included, so I'm going to put a parentheses. Okay, so that's how I'm going to go ahead and start writing my domain. So I'm going to say negative infinity to -1. Now, because I'm going to write an interval for the other branch, I'm going to go ahead and put a union. Now, where does the other branch pick up? He picks up at -1, just where the other guy left off. Parentheses or bracket? Parentheses, because we have the open circle. And someone already said it. How far does he go? He goes to 5. As soon as you hit 5, see, the graph doesn't exist after that. So he goes to 5, and what would you say? Parentheses or bracket? Parentheses. So now I wrote out an interval notation for each one of these. So now go back. Can I go ahead and say that the domain is everything from negative infinity to 5? Could I condense those? Why do you say no? This one stops at -1. This one starts at -1. Nathan's absolutely right. Neither of them are included. So this is an example where I would have to leave it like that. Okay.
I have it 5, test 3.
Now, are you talking vertically? Because right now we're looking left and right. Just how wide. Now, when we go vertical, then I'd say about 3.5 is going to play a bigger role. Okay. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. So we got the horizontal. Hey, right here. Oh, we're talking about the open and the closed circle. So, for example, had this branch ended in a closed circle, well, that tells me 5 is part of it, part of that set, so I would have put a bracket. So it really depends on those open or the closed. And you guys remember, I think I brought this up the other day, what if this branch right here had just stopped? Didn't have a closed, didn't have an open. Okay? Could be an arrow, but if the graph just stopped, would you put parentheses or a bracket? Okay, Christian, what do you think? Bracket. The only time guaranteed you're going to go ahead and put the parentheses is if you do have that open circle. If there's nothing indicating that you wouldn't include that, we will go ahead and include it. We'll always err on that side of caution. Okay, now let's look vertically. So I'm looking up and down. So let's do this one. Let's do them separately like we did just a moment ago. Okay. So forget about this guy right here. He doesn't exist. So this guy, how far down will he go? So negative infinity. Okay. So he goes from negative infinity to What was it I said a second ago? I'd say 3.5, 3.5. Because I'd say about midway between 3 and 4. I mean, this is your best estimate, I would say. If you were to say something like 3.4 or 3.6, I'm not going to be a stickler about that. It's going to be just fine. But because it's an open circle, I'm going to put a parentheses. So that's how tall that particular graph is. See, we already got the width. We already got the horizontal. So now we're working on the range. So now put him to the side. Now I want to look at this guy that looks like the V. Does any part of him go to infinity? No. So how low and how high does he go? -3 to 1. Would you guys agree? Okay. So I'd say this guy right here, okay, that's his height. He goes from -3, oops, I don't know why I did that, -3 to 1. Now, what would you think about that -3? Would I put a bracket or parentheses? Bracket. There's no open circle to tell me he wouldn't be included, so I would go ahead and put a bracket on him. What about the 1? Definitely parentheses, okay, because he has an open circle. So this is what we got so far. This interval describes the left ray. This interval describes what looks to be like a giant check mark, right? So if you have more than one interval, we put the union. But here's always a good idea. Can I combine those? Okay, so he says yes. Is he right? So you're saying I would go from what to what? Yes, this is actually very similar to one of those ones that we talked about the other day, or just a few moments ago. This group is contained what? There you go. Isn't that group inside of that interval? Okay. Both -3 and 1 are smaller than 3.5. Yeah. So that's absolutely right. For my range, I'm going to say -infinity to 3.5. That is perfect. Thank you, Rhett. Oh, someone else? Okay. All right. How we doing? Oh, I guess somebody either. Hey. All right. Let's try this second one. Okay. Okay, so number 2. Would you like to try this one on your own? Maybe I were to give you a minute. See if you can write down the domain and range. Okay. All right, try that. Let me give you 1 minute. Okay, so remember, if it helps, write an interval for this first branch, write an interval for the second branch, and then ask yourself, can I merge those or do they have to stay separate? And maybe this would help somebody out as well. What 2 directions will this graph go forever? Up, down, right, left. Up and right, because we got the arrow right here. Okay, so that'll definitely play a part in one of your intervals. All right. Now remember, for domain, we're talking about the width. We're going from left to right. Okay, so how much space does it take? Let's start with this guy right here. So no part of this branch goes forever. So what's he between? Negative, okay, -5 and what? -1. All right, so I'm going to say -5, -1, parentheses, and then a bracket, because we have the open circle and we have the closed. Okay. Now let's write an interval for that other one. So where does he start? He starts at -1, parentheses or bracket? Parentheses, open circle. And we already said he goes forever to the right, and we're looking at domain. Okay. So now if I have more than one interval, I put the U between them. But now always stop to ask yourself, Is this one? And you're already saying yes. Why? There you go. This one is included, even though this one isn't. I can just pull those together. So my domain should be everything from -5 to what? Infinity. How many people got that? Good, good, good. That's a good amount of hands. If you're not raising your hand, is there anything I can do? Jaden? Oh, you are confused?
No, I just was.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you did get that, so you're good. Okay, so you're not confused. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Would it still take the like the long version of it?
The long version is okay. I probably might take off just a point. Nothing huge or world-shattering, just because I really want to encourage you to condense. You know, we always like things as simple as we can in mathematics. Okay? But I'm definitely not going to count the entire thing wrong if you gave me that. Okay? So, what about the range? Oop, let me erase this one more time. There we go. So let's see, I'm looking for how tall. Do we want to go ahead and do them separately, go all together? What do you guys think? All together? Okay. So Angel, do you have the answer? What do you think? Okay, so he says -3 to infinity. So inclusive there, not there. That is the range. That is the simplified range. Now, if you take a look, this arrow right here, how high is he going to go? He's going to keep going forever, right? Well, if he keeps going up, doesn't that kind of take care of that right there? Because all of the y values that you have here are already going to be on this portion that goes forever. Okay, so maybe if you did write it separately, you're going to notice that's another situation where you have a group inside of another group. How many people got that one right? That's even more hands going up. Fantastic, fantastic, very good. Okay, we're doing a lot better? Okay, so you would say we function well in our domain? Math jokes, they're awesome. Nathaniel agrees with me. He got a big smile on his face. There you go. All right. So I'll tell you what, we did not get to the piecewise functions today, and I'm okay with that. That's not a problem. We'll go ahead and pick that up tomorrow. You've already got the notes. If you still haven't turned in the homework assignment, remember, you get it to me by the end of the day. It's not late. We have a test on Thursday. I think that's it, unless anybody has any questions. Today, I'm hoping to be out of here by 4:30 because I'm picking up my children. Okay. And for after-school tutorials, if you can let me know maybe the day ahead of time, that way I can go ahead and make arrangements in case something like that should happen. If you go ahead and tell me, like during 5th period, hey, I want to come today after school, I'm going to absolutely do my best to accommodate you. But if I am doing something like picking up my kids, it may just be kind of quick. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So just let me know ahead of time and we'll be good to go. All right. Let me go ahead and shut this off.